Well, welcome everybody to this final event of Taster Month 2023. Feels like it's been a really long month, full of webinars, Q&A sessions, information, events, all that sort of stuff that hopefully you guys have been attending. But we've made it. This is the final formal event of Taster Month 2023. And it's quite sort of handy that we're ending on one of our academic taster sessions, which of course are the stars of Taster Month. They're what we really want you guys to be attending. So today's session then is all about one of our what we call support modules over in recruitment land here at the college, Swansea University, which I believe is interactive learning skills and communication. Yes, I'm having nods. Excellent. Got that right. So this is one of the modules that, and I'm sure that our fabulous guest today will explain more about this a little bit later on, but this is one of the modules that lots of our students will study regardless of what particular degree discipline you are ultimately going to be progressing on to at Swansea University. So before we get started, quick reminder to everybody that you do have the ability to engage with us. Use the chat box, use the Q&A function. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about the module that we're going to be talking about today, about learning and teaching at the college, or indeed about any other aspect of living and learning with us in Swansea. So without further ado then, I will hand over to today's fabulous guest, Claire. So Claire, if you want to introduce yourself and then we'll get going.
Hello everyone. It's really nice to be here this morning, or wherever you are in the world. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. So my name is Claire Edwards and I'm one of the lecturers here at the college. I've been a lecturer at the college for over 14 years, teaching on the module that I'm going to be chatting to you about today, which is interactive learning skills and communication. But also I'm the academic lead and the lecturer for the foundation law modules as well. So I've been at the college a long time. I know the college inside and out. And I know it's a wonderful place to work. I've been here for 14 years, so I think that says a lot. So we look forward to welcoming you later on in the year. But as well as being a lecturer, I'm the school education lead for the college, and that's a relatively new post for me. And what essentially that means is that I work really closely with all of the teaching team, all of the lecturers, and I work with other teams across the college and the wider university to just ensure academic quality and to really make sure that the students have a wonderful experience while they're with us. So that's the other part of my job. But the main reason why I'm here today is not to talk about me, but to talk about interactive learning skills and communication. So at this point, I'll share my screen and I'll go through a PowerPoint with you for some main points. All right, so can everyone see the screen?
I can see it, so I'm assuming everyone else can. Okay,
fine, thank you. Okay, so interactive learning skills and communication. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about this morning. What is ILSC, first of all? What topics will you learn when you come to study with us and study on the ILSC module? How does the ILSC module relate to your wider course of study? And in particular, I will focus on the employability or the career development aspect of the course. So starting off with what is ILSC. So you know from the introductions that this is interactive learning skills and communication. So interactive learning skills part of the title refers to the active student engagement in the class with us when we teach this module. So interactive learning means it's a really hands-on lesson. There's lots of practical tasks and activities because that's the best way to learn a skills module. It's not actually just to listen, but to do. And so it's a very active module. So that's what the interactive learning skills are about. And obviously communication, it's not just about what you say, but it's how you say it. So in the lesson, we teach you about oral skills and academic writing skills as well. So what topics do you learn when you study ILSC? So everyone studies ILSC, foundation level, year one, pre-masters. So it goes across the whole of the modules. And on the course, we tend to cover what is academic integrity, avoiding academic misconduct, how to reference sources and acknowledge your sources when you're writing or presenting, how to give an effective presentation, We learn about time management skills, which is really very important on an intense 11-week course when you're studying numerous modules and you have numerous assessments. To be able to effectively manage your time is extremely important. We also cover how to work as a team, and not just to work in groups, but how to manage teamwork and how to work effectively as a team. And in the ILSC modules, you work as a team to produce a research report. And so we cover research reports and report writing and the academic conventions associated with writing reports. And if you're in year 1 or pre-masters, you will study critical reading and critical writing techniques on your ILSC module. And also we study employability skills. And that's what I've chosen as a focus for today's session, because it's embedded into not just ILSC, but across all university pathways. So another thing that's really important is to recognise how this module relates to the wider course of study, because the module shouldn't be taught and it shouldn't be learned in isolation. All of the list of things that I mentioned earlier on are called transferable skills. And transferable skills essentially means that you transfer them from the ILSC module into all of your other modules, because they're always relevant. Whether you transfer them from module to module during one semester, you would transfer them from one semester to the next semester. And these skills stay with you, you build on them, you grow with them, and you transfer them then onto your further study, whether you're in year 1, year 2, year 3, postgraduate study. So transferable skills, they start off being the building blocks of essential university study. We try to make sure that you can meet university expectations, or we do ensure that you meet university expectations, and then you transfer those skills into your other modules. So let's look at the list again. These are all the transferable skills, and I've underlined how to reference and acknowledge sources. So I thought I'd use that as a good example of how that's a transferable skill, but they're all transferable skills. Because academic integrity means that you have trust and honesty in your work, and that the university and your lecturers have academic integrity as well. Avoiding academic misconduct, such as plagiarism or collusion. They are things that, of course, you take with you through your entire modules, through your entire course, through your entire study as a student. Referencing, which we're going to look at now, would transfer into the other modules, because all of your modules will require some kind of referencing. And while I've got the list up, I'll just explain how the others are transferable. So we learn about presentation skills in ILSC, and in other modules you might have to give a presentation. So you would have learned the skills in ILSC and then you transfer them to your other modules. Time management, of course, goes across all areas of study, as does teamwork, because you will be put into teams for other assessments. So for example, I know if you're studying foundation business studies, you would do a group project. And if we look at report writing, I know that if you're a master's student and you're studying marketing, then you will write a report for marketing. You write a report for business studies. So the skills that we teach you in ILSC need to be used in your other modules. They are linked together. Of course, critical reading, critical thinking links to those other modules, and employability goes across your entire stay at Swansea University. So of all of those transferable skills, I thought I'd start with referencing, and I'm not going to go through the whole of that list because we don't have time today, but referencing is very, very important, and all lecturers in all of their assessments will require referencing. So on the screen, you've got an example of some referencing, and it can be a bit overwhelming because there's a lot of text on the screen, and I don't want you to read all of the text. I just want to highlight what the referencing is. So the referencing is the citation here. You can see Berkeley University and you can see Nottingham University. And on this one, you can see Times Higher Education. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see Rogers and Stein. So these are called citations. And some students come to us and they know how to do this. And a lot of students come to us and they would have never done this before. And all of the lecturers that teach on ILSC are very experienced, and they know all of the different students from different parts of the world and their abilities and their concerns and their worries. Basically, you shouldn't worry at all, because we don't just teach you how to do this, we support you to do it. And the class tasks and activities in the first few weeks ensure that that you're comfortable, that you know how to do it, and that if you don't know how to do it, then you can ask, and it's a comfortable environment and a safe environment and a supportive environment to be able to ask, well, how do I do this, and I need more support. So these references that you can see on the screen on this side, so if I change my mouse to a pointer, perhaps that would be a bit easier. Let me just change that to this. All right, so you can see a bit clearer. These are called citations. And on this slide, you can see that we tend to use company names or host names if they're from a website. So this would be Berkeley University's website. This would be Nottingham University's website. But down the bottom, they're authors. So two authors who have written an academic article, and we use their family name or their surname. And we use the date of publication as well. Now, in Swansea University, we use APA style, APA 7th style, and that's the name of the referencing. And it just refers to the format that we use. And all of the schools, apart from the law school who uses a different style, will use APA style. And don't worry, if there are any law students on the call, we teach you how to do your referencing in a different way as well. So this is APA style. And on the other side, you can see something called a reference list. And the reference list wouldn't normally be side to side. This is just for the purpose of the PowerPoint. But the reference list would normally go on the last page of any assignment you hand in. So the final page on its own, the last page tells us a reference of all of the citations that you've used. So if you look at the reference list, you can see that every citation has an entry on the list. So if I, as a lecturer, want to check out your source and see what you read and see what you used, I could see how to find it. And if we look down the list, we can see all of the web links, and we can see the name of the journal here and the other web links there. So, and reference lists have a particular style and a particular format. And in the ILSC classes, you learn exactly how to do that. And the reason why that this is not just an essential study skill, it's not just an essential skill for students, it's a transferable skill, as I said earlier, that moves from one module to another. So you learn how to do it in the first few weeks in ILSC. Then when you hand in an assignment for business studies or psychology or engineering or whatever you're doing, you will know how to do it because we would have taught you in ILSC and you transfer that skill across. So why do we reference? Well, we need to make sure that we're not accused of plagiarism. And plagiarism is using the words or the work of another without acknowledgement. And when you're in this college, in this university, when you use sources, you have to acknowledge them. You have to give them credit, and you have to say, these are the people that I used. So in this example, you can see that this student has used words from Berkeley University. They've used ideas from Nottingham University. They've been on the Times Education website, and that they've used that source. So they're just telling us, and that's what a citation and a reference is. All we're saying is, don't hide where you've been. Tell us where you've been, and then you always have academic integrity. So you avoid being accused of plagiarism, and that's a good thing. Also, you're giving intellectual credit to your sources as well. I mean, those people work hard to publish their articles and their websites, so they need credit for it. And also, they're experts. If you're using good sources, then you're adding intellectual weight and value to your sentences, and that's good to get extra marks. Also, you reference so that the lecturers can find your sources easily if they need to, because sometimes we do want to check out what you've read and where you have been researching. And of course, every reference provides expert evidence to support the points that you're saying. So when you're writing a report, or you're writing an essay, or even when you're putting a PowerPoint together for a presentation, you might want to support the statements that you have written. So when you just write them on your own, from your own mind, it might be descriptive. It doesn't carry much value or weight. But if you add an academic to your sentence, like an author or a journal article, then what it's done is it's added value or weight and evidence to your sentence, and that can help you get more marks. And also it's referencing is demonstrating how far and wide you've read, that you haven't just relied on one website, that you've actually made an effort to read different websites, that you might have read articles in a journal, you might have read a newspaper article, you might have read a textbook. So it shows us exactly where you've got the information from. And that's why referencing is important. And it's one of the first things we teach, because we know that students come with a variety of skills, some having done referencing before and some never referencing before. And it's really important that that skill gets sorted out right at the beginning of term, so that whenever another lecturer hands you an assessment, you will very confidently be able to reference in that assignment because you've had lots of support in your ILSC modules. All right. So this word transferable skill, I've mentioned it quite a lot. So just to recap and to sum up there, you will learn how to reference your sources in ILSC. You will be shown, and not just shown, there will be demonstrations and support and tasks and activities, because it's an interactive class. You transfer that to other modules. So for example, if you are studying business studies or psychology, when you submit an assignment for them, you'll know how to reference because you've transferred the skill from ILSC into those other modules. And everything links up, as it says at the bottom. You can put not just referencing, but all of your ILSC skills to good use across the semester, across your time at the college, across your time at the university. And hopefully you should see then a boost, an increase in your grades in the other modules. So at this point, I'd probably pause for a second to see if anyone wants to ask any questions about what I've said so far. So in particular about referencing, because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, especially if students worry about the format, or they might worry about not knowing how to do it. So I'll just pause for a second to see if anyone has a question about what I've said so far. No questions coming through, so I'll continue. So what else will you learn on the ILSC course? So, as I said in my outline, one of the other things that you might learn is, well, you will learn is employability skills. And employability skills on the ILSC course is called the CDC, or the Career Development course. And you might be wondering, well, why would we need to do this at such an early stage in our studies? You might be thinking that employment and your final career choice is a long way off. But actually, it's very, very important to get these skills embedded into your study very early on. And that's because the workplace has become competitive. There are lots of students studying, and you need to stand out from the crowd. But also, employers and industry have told universities over the years that a degree is no longer enough. So you don't just need the academic skills, you need the workplace skills as well. So no matter what course you're studying on, when you progress throughout year 1, year 2, year 3, postgraduate, employability skills are very much a part of your course. And if you spend time accessing the homepage of the faculty that you will end up in. So for example, if we've got some engineers, you could look at the Faculty of Science and Engineering, you could look at Human and Health Sciences, you could look at the Law School, you could look at the School of Management, and you will see that they have their own employability webpage, and they will show the students how employment skills get integrated into your academic study, right? It's very, very important. So what we've done in ILSC is work closely with the university to put in some career development courses within the ILSC. And employability skills means skills you need to be effective in the workplace. And I know that the workplace might seem a long way off, but you're getting employability skills just by being in the classroom and doing teamwork, by communicating, by meeting deadlines. Those are employability skills as well, but we need more specific ones. So you might be learning how to, You might be learning specific communication skills. If you're doing business management, you might be learning specific engineering and science skills, or healthcare skills, or law skills, if you're in those departments. But you also need wider personal skills as well. And this career development course that we have in ILSC comes directly from Swansea University's Employability Academy, which you have direct access to. And here's a screenshot of the part of their website, which shows you some of the links that they have to help you improve your career prospects, just get chat about career ideas, what career events that we have on in Swansea. But here in particular, you can see the career development course. So you can access the career development course directly through Swansea Employability Academy, and they've got 16 modules of how to boost your employability skills. But in ILSC, we cover 5 of those. And then once you've completed those 5 as part of the ILSC module, you can go off and do the other modules in your own time, voluntarily, and it will give you a record of your achievements. So why do you need employability skills? Well, I've already said a degree is no longer enough. Employers now look for candidates with a wide range of skills and not just the academic knowledge. And I've said that this is a big part of university life. So the career development course with ILSC means that you'll study 5 career development course units. And this will be recognised on something called your Higher Education Achievement Report. So there's a really good reason for us putting this into your course, because not only would you get a grade if you complete the career development course in ILSC, you get 10% of your final grade for the study skills module, but also you're getting the employability skills, so you can shout about it on your CV and you can tell people in interviews that you have these particular skills. But also it's on your Higher Education Achievement Report as a course that you have completed, and you can use that Higher Education Achievement Report to demonstrate to future employers on your CV and in interviews what you have done to boost your skills. And when you arrive at the university, your personal tutor will your personal tutor will tell you more about this achievement report and how you can access it and how you can add things to it to boost your skills. So I said you get 10% of your grade if you pass the course, skills as well. So I'll give you an idea of the type of employability skills that you would cover on our ILSC course. So one of them is called Developing Your Self-Awareness. Another one is called Demonstrating Reflection, Mindset, and Decision-Making and Resilience. So these might not be the first things you think of when you think of how to be effective in the workplace, because if you say to people, well, name me some skills you need for the workplace, they might say teamwork, communication, IT skills, and you do need those as well. But this is about developing your personal skills and recognizing your strengths, and also recognizing where you might need to develop. So what happens on the ILSC course is we give you an extra hour on the timetable per week to give you support on these modules. So you could choose to do them in your own time, you can choose to do it as self-directed study, or you can choose to do it in the timetabled class that we give. And we schedule classes into our beautiful in our ICT laboratory. So we have a computer lab, and your classes will be in there. So you have direct access to the computers. You can access the CDC courses in the class, and you would do them at your own speed. Every student doing it in their own time and their own speed. So you can click on the boxes and drop them down, and you see in the course everything you need for self-awareness. And when you finish that, demonstrating reflection, mindset, decision-making, and so on. And this usually takes a student about 6 weeks to complete, but you're only maybe doing it for 30 to 40 minutes a week to complete the course. Once you've completed the courses, you get to do a quiz, and there's a quiz attached to each one. And when you do the quiz and you get full marks in the quiz, you will get 100% of your score, which would lead to 10% of your ILSC score. So like I said, it's a win-win-win situation. You're getting the skill, you're getting a grade, and also you're getting the certificate on your higher education achievement award. So I'll just focus on one. So one of those CDC modules is called Mindset, and employers look for a particular type of mindset. You see it in job adverts, in job descriptions. They might talk about it in interviews as well. And there are two types of mindset. Does anyone know what the two types of mindset are? And if you do, you could type them in the chat. Has anyone heard of this? Do we know what the two types of mindset are? Type it in the chat, but it doesn't matter if you don't know, because that's the whole point of giving you the course, isn't it? And teaching you and supporting you. I'll tell you, there are fixed mindset people and there are growth mindset people. And employers tend to look for growth mindset. So fixed mindset would mean that you don't need to learn anymore. You're done, you're ready, you've got everything you need. You don't need to explore anything else. You don't need to grow in any way, that you're qualified, you can do it, and you're not open to change very much. Of course, you can see that that might not be the best skill to bring into a team or a workplace. So growth mindset is the opposite of that. Growth mindset people are more positive. They're open to change. They constantly want to develop and they want to grow. And that makes life so much easier when you're working with someone with a growth mindset and as part of a team. So why is this important to you? Why do we teach you this? Why do we ask you to find out what kind of mindset you have and how you can improve your mindset? Well, it's because employers value it. And as I've said, you'll see this perhaps in some job descriptions. You might see it or be asked about it, in some interviews. And at least then you'll know about it. You'll be able to say, I'm aware of what this is, and you can sell yourself as being someone with a growth mindset and understand the value that has to employers and also to fellow co-workers. So research has shown that people with a growth mindset really are more likely to not only get a job, but to keep a job. And these things that are associated with growth mindset and positivity, such as confidence, optimism, resilience, perseverance, they're really valuable to employers. So you would, on your CDC course, watch some YouTube videos on this, some TED Talks. You would meet people from the Swansea Employability Academy, and they would give you a little video chat on what this is and why this is important. And then once you've done the course, you do a quiz. And as I said, the quiz would amount to, well, each quiz is worth 2%, which adds up to 10% of your final course. But there are other things as well. So you know that there were 5 units. One of them was resilience, another one was decision making. And of course, employers value these as well. So resilience is a skill that you get, or you learn when something perhaps doesn't go right in life. And this could be a personal problem, it could be a work problem, it could be a college problem, it could be a study problem. And sometimes things don't go to plan. And resilience skills are those skills that you need to be able to bounce back, to be able to recover from something that hasn't gone very well and be able to move forward and learn from it. And people who are resilient learn from what's happened in the past and they move forward. And that's a good skill to have. And of course, decision making and the other things that were on there, such as self-reflection. So hopefully you see, just by my little snapshot of chatting about these things, that they are valuable, not only as for personal growth, but also that employers would value these things as well. So within our ILSC course, you explore these skills and complete tasks and quizzes. And remember, you're never doing all of this on your own. There are specially timetabled classes for this, and there are support. There's always support in the class of how to complete it. And then what happens is you get this, when you completed the 5 modules, you get a career development course entry on your higher education achievement record. And then if you want to, in your own time, so outside of ILSC, during a teaching break, for example, or during a break in a semester, you can do some more from the Swansea Employability Academy. And if you do 10 modules, then you can get a higher certificate on top of that as well. And that it would be something to shout about on your CV and show that you've not just got your degree or your academic qualifications, but you've got employability skills as well. So to sum up the CDC course, 5 aspects of employability during your 11-week ILSC module. You can achieve up to 10% of your ILSC grade. And if you pass all of the quizzes, you get 100%. You would, of course, get 10% of your course and you get a certificate as well. So like I said, it's a win-win-win situation. So on that, at that point, I'll pause again and ask you if you've got any questions for me about what I've said so far. So do you have any questions about the CDC, the career development course, employability, or how we teach it? So everyone's really quiet this morning. No one has any questions. Or sometimes I think if you don't have any questions, that's a good thing. So perhaps it just means I've explained it really well. You can still have a think anyway, because there's opportunity at the end. So have a think if you have any questions about what I've said so far. So because you haven't asked any questions, I've probably finished a little bit earlier than I thought I might. I was expecting perhaps some interaction and some questions, but I'll conclude anyway, because what I've said so far is interactive learning skills is something that's studied by all students, whether you are a foundation student or a year 1 student or a pre-master student, and it covers university expectations. So everything from teamwork to employability to report writing to academic writing, time management, referencing and academic integrity. And these are known as transferable skills. It's an interactive class full of student interaction and activity. So it's a really great way to make friends actually in the first few weeks when you join us, because everyone is new, everyone's come from different parts of the world. And because our classes are small and friendly and supportive, it's a really good way of meeting people in those first few weeks. And it's not like a boring old lecture. We don't stand at the front of the class talking at you. You're very much involved. It's a student-led and student-centered class where there's lots of activity going on. There are some questions coming in the chat now. Is it for degree students or can pre-master's students do it? Yeah, it's for everybody. So it doesn't matter whether you're foundation or year 1 or pre-masters, they are built in to those courses. So yes, pre-masters do them as well. That was a simple question with a simple answer. So what I'll do, because we've got plenty of time, I'll just go back to the list of what is on the ILSC course, and I'm quite happy to talk about another part of it. So it's part, isn't it? There's our list. So is there a specific thing on that list that you would like me to tell you more about? So I could tell you a bit more about report writing or how to give an effective presentation or what that means, or I can tell you about some of the assessments for ILSC if you'd like. Is there any fee attached to it? The career development course, you mean, Samuel? Mary, is it? No, there's no fee. Everything is included in the course. So if you're talking about the career development course, there's definitely no fee. And even when you finish with the college and you finish your career development course at the college, you have access to Swansea Employability. It's very much part of your university experience, and you could do 10 of those modules and there will be no cost to it. So I hope that answers that question. So again, have a look at the list. Is there anything specific on that list you would like to know more about?
Can you
go
hear
on,
me?
it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, great. I was thinking what might be useful for the guys who are watching is a bit of an explanation of what the Higher Education Achievement Report is.
Okay. It's not something that we manage at the college. It's something that comes from the university. what I understand is that it's a digital record, and it's through some software or app that is managed by the university and the student. So the student gets, they log in and they can see their achievements. So for example, if they did the career development course and they finished 5 units, it would say career development course completed. It would say what modules in the career development course that they have studied. And this higher education achievement record can be shown to employers. So it's anything that they do within the university, so academic or extracurricular, as far as I'm aware. But I have to say, I am not an expert in it. I know that it exists. I know that it's a very valuable thing to employers. I know that it's a successful thing that university have, and students like adding things to their higher education achievement record. And it's very much about not just academic skills like your degree or your postgraduate degree. It would be the other things that you've done as well. So sorry, I can't give you any more on that, but I do know that if one of the screens I shared, even though there's not a link on it, one of the screens was Swansea Employability Academy. And on the Swansea Employability Academy, there's a question and answer page on there about what is my higher achievement record, how can I access it, how will it be used? And so there are frequently asked questions on that page about it. So if it's okay, just to direct to that, that's what I can say.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yes, all of the information that we're covering today, there's lots more available on the website. But yeah, the HEAR, the Higher Education Achievement Report, is a really useful thing because it provides that university verified account of everything that you've done. So whether that is aspects of your course, like the CDC, extracurricular stuff that you do with the Employability Academy or with the Students' Union, a lot of that will be tracked on your HEAR report. And when you do get to the point where you're looking for jobs, you just get in touch with their Grad Intelligence. They're the guys who run that report, and they can get you a digital copy, which you can include in. So when you're submitting applications, you include cover letter, your CV, and your HEAR report, and it's just an extra little shiny document for you to show employers as to all the stuff that you have you've achieved while you've been with us.
And there's another question in the chat about, I think this is about the career development course, I assume. And so the answer to when can you start those courses? So if you're a pre-master's student, then it's usually a 10-week course, and the other, so foundation or level 1 are 11 weeks. You start the CDC course in about week 4 of teaching. So you have the first 4 weeks for settling in and to do the other things. And then in the 4th week of teaching, we add an extra hour to your timetable. And that's when you go into the ICT labs, and we will introduce the career development course to you, show you how to access it, show you where to submit the quizzes. And then that usually runs for 6 weeks from that point. So from week 4 for 6 weeks, you have the support. So it's in the middle to the end. That's when you actually do it.
Now, that's a really good example of why students should be checking their timetable daily, because they are living sort of entities, and stuff will get added. So as Claire said, that extra hour will get added when the CDC course comes in. So yeah, don't just take a screenshot of your timetable of week 1, because that will likely change. A bit of a sidetrack there, but useful.
No, it's a good point, because our timetables are live documents, and they're updated daily, especially in the first few weeks, because student numbers might grow. We might need a new classroom, a different location. As sometimes the times change, the rooms change, but it does settle down maybe after the first 2 weeks, I would say. But then in ILSC, we know that the career development course is coming, so we do help students to remind them to check their timetable as well, and we put notices up on our Canvas pages. But it's absolutely important to never take a screenshot of your timetable, but to always check your live document every day. So I've still got the list on the screen about the topics that we cover in ILSC. And perhaps, is there anything else that you might want to know about? No one's particularly worried about anything. So I might tell you a bit about the assessments then, if that are linked to these things. So it does depend on whether you're doing foundation, year 1, or pre-masters. So if you're doing foundation, for example, you would have a referencing assessment. So we would make sure that you know how to reference. citations and a reference list. So that assessment is usually worth 25% of your final course. And again, you're supported, you're shown, there are demonstrations, there are tasks. And at the moment, this is in the form of a class task, a class test. So you're given an unseen paper that you would then apply the references to. Again, if you're on foundation, you would be expected to give a presentation. And again, that would be worth 25% of your final grade. It's usually a 5-minute presentation about something that is related to your course of study. So if you're studying engineering, you would talk about something connected, to maybe why you're interested in chemical engineering or electrical engineering. Or if you're studying business, there might be an aspect of marketing you're particularly interested in, or a certain entrepreneur that you aspire to be like. So you can talk about anything in the presentation as long as it has academic content that's somehow related to your area of study. And we expect you to stand up in front of your small class and deliver a live presentation using a PowerPoint like I'm doing now, or other visual aid. And in the run up to this presentation, students tend to be a bit concerned because they don't want to talk in public very much. But actually, it's quite an enjoyable session. They love listening to all of their classmates delivering presentations, and our students are really supportive of each other, and you always get a round of applause at the end and some questions. But presentations are a common assessment throughout the university, so if you get that sorted while you're with us at the college with lots of support and examples and resources all over Canvas, then it's a good place to start. So we do a presentation, which is worth 25%. We do the report writing, which is a big project that usually takes students about 4 weeks to complete. And this is done in a team. So we give you a research question, something to explore. So it could be exploring something on academic misconduct. It could, in the past, we've asked questions on essay writing services. We might ask a question about ChatGPT in the next few semesters and find out what the impact of that is on education, and see if you can write a report on that. Well, we don't know. If you're doing business, we might give you a business problem and just go and investigate it and write a report. But reports are informative documents that have a very set structure and style. And so in the class, we teach you all the different parts of a report, how to gather the information for the report, how to do the research for a report, and then how to put it together so that it's an informative document that communicates your point really well. And you do that as part of a team, and that's usually worth 30% of your final grade. And again, for foundation, the employability would be the other 20%. And it's 20% because even though today I've been talking about it with the 10% of the quizzes, which is the main focus of the employability qualification. But in order to make it a bit more academic for ILSC, we add in a personal reflection for another 10%. So when you have done your CDC courses and you have done those 5 elements, resilience, decision-making, mindset, and so on, when you finished all of those, we ask you to reflect. And we ask you to write a few hundred words to say, well, what did you learn from that? How has it affected you? How will you use those skills in the future? And so that should add up to 100%. And if you're in year 1 or you're in pre-masters level, you will add, you do those assessments as well, but we add in a critical reading assignment as well. Because at a slightly higher level, and especially with the pre-masters, you would really be expected to engage in a critical way. So critical reading, active reading, being able to question people and to say, is that right? How could this have been done better? Is this credible? Is this trustworthy? And to be able to engage with those texts. And then once you've done that critical reading, to be able to write and evaluate a text and to say what the good points and perhaps weaknesses are of a text and why you might trust or not trust a particular document. And that really does encourage you to judge your sources before you use them, so that when you're researching online and you're Googling everything, that you do have that skill to be able to take that step back and be able to say, should I be using this? Do I trust this? Is this a credible source? How up to date is this source? should I be using this in my assessment? And those critical reading skills are assessed for year 1 and for pre-masters. That's not to say that we don't teach foundation students those skills as well. We do, but they're just not, they're not a weighted assessment. So that's the assessments and how all of these things link in. I mean, of course, referencing would be put into all written assignments, and time management is obviously something that you would carry with you for the entire semester, in order to manage your deadlines, to manage your stress levels, to find a healthy balance between work and play, and to make sure that you not only achieve the highest that you can, but also enjoy yourself while you're here as well. So they're the assessments and how the skills build into those assessments. So again, I'll pause and ask anyone if they have any questions, if they would like to type a question into the chat about the skills or the assessments. Doesn't seem to be anything else coming through. So we are up to 50 minutes now, so perhaps I've dragged enough out of the session, I think, and told you just about everything that I can tell you about not only the subjects, but the assessments. But hopefully what you've been able to tell from the presentation as well is perhaps how supportive the module is. I hope that comes across, that it really is something that we encourage you to excel in and build skills. And remember that your teachers are excellent, and they never just leave you to it and expect you to do it on your own. They're very, very supportive. And so you will get taught, but you will get supported. And I hope that that's the main message that's come through. So if I just flick to the end, I mean, I already said thank you for letting me talk to you today, but also I was happy to answer your questions. None have come through, so I'll use this point to sign off and say thank you very much. And I really do look forward to meeting you when you arrive in Swansea.
Smashing. Thank you very much, Claire. And I think it's important to note as well that direct entry students don't necessarily get module like ILSC. This isn't something that is standard across the university. So this is a module and a build-up of different things like time management and referencing that if you're going straight into the first year of your degree, you don't get. Now, I was a direct entry student at Swansea, and things like time management and referencing in particular, referencing was a big one. It's just a sort of, yeah, you have to do this now. So to get this additional support for something which is so crucial to any degree discipline, referencing is a massive part of university, particularly if you're doing something which is, you know, I did politics. So if you're doing something like politics or history, which is mostly essays, referencing is you've got to be really good at referencing, otherwise you're going to sort of lose out on sort of your top marks. So our students, whether you're doing a pre-masters, a foundation or international year 1, when you progress on to that first year of study completely with Swansea University, you've got a bit of a leg up on the guys who are coming in for the first time, who won't know what referencing is, who won't have had all of this support from Claire and the rest of the academics here at the college.
And I think that's an important thing to say, that when our previous students come back and visit us, and they do, because they always want to come back and say hello and tell us how successful they've been. That's the thing that they say the most, that they appreciate, especially when they've moved away from the college and our welcoming arms. They move on a little bit into a bigger pool, you know, hundreds of students and lots of lecturers, and they then, more in retrospect, appreciate the skills, and they finally, something clicks and they finally realize, that's why we did ILSC, that's why we did critical thinking, that's why we did composition and style, that's why we did mass communications, that's why we did those study skills modules, and they can see everything fitting in. So we do very often get our lovely students coming back from year 2, year 3, and giving talks to our students now and telling them why it's really important. So they are essential skills, and it's definitely something that will give you a boost as when you leave us, to be that one step ahead of the other students, as Kieran said, that are direct entry. Yeah.
Grand. So hopefully that session is giving you guys a good taste of what it's like to study with us at the college, Swansea University. As we said at the beginning of this session, this is the final event of Taster Month 2023. So hopefully you've been attending more than just this and are now leaving March, going into April with a lot more information about us and what we do here for you guys, for the students. You know, it's all about you and giving you a really positive experience, both academically and in your social lives as well, you know, providing you with all sorts of different services. So thank you very much for joining us today, those who are watching the recording or whether you're watching it live. We've had some great questions. We'll have time for one or two more when we stop the recording now. For those who are watching the recording, don't feel like you've missed out on the chance to ask questions. Give us a message on social media, drop us an email, give us a live chat, give us a phone call. Happy to have a chat with you about any questions that you may have about any of the information that we've covered today. But we will now say goodbye to you guys who are watching the recording. The recording of this session will be made available on our website and it'll be emailed out to everybody who registered as well. So if you did miss it, hopefully now you're watching it on the recording. So thank you very much, and we hope to be hearing from you very, very soon.